Hello, Team Happy and Fit. Happy Tuesday. Amanda Freeland is our guest tonight, and I'm so excited. So, fun fact, Eric and I drove to Alpena, Michigan to go visit a friend, and I played, you guys may know the story, but I ended up playing volleyball and met Amanda Freeland at that time. And Rachel, the person that I had signed up with, she was drinking Shakeology and talking about Beachbody. Didn't know what it was. She never actually formally invited me, but I just thought the name Beachbody was weird because I thought you got fit on a beach. However, what I really loved is the community she was a part of. And so that's what I saw, and I called her up and said, hey, I want to do this thing. Amanda have you been a coach for 8 years? I want to say it's something like that. Got it. Wow. 9 years. And she loves what we have, the tools that we have. Amanda is a wife to Ben. She's a former teacher, and her school unexpectedly closed down. And I always say, do this plan A for your health, plan B for finances, because you just never know. You never know what season will come. You don't know what will happen. And I just love that this opportunity allows us more wiggle room. She's a mom and such a fun mom. Like, seriously, she's a mom to Grayson and Charlie, and it's just been so fun to watch her journey. She just went to NLC, so she went 2-star and more. Did you go 3-star? 2-star, on your way to 3. There you are. You're going to build your second CBC. There we go. Anyway, the most important part about that is she got to re-sign up her best coach, which is her. And so going 2-star, you get to sign up yourself again. And so it's just fun watching her journey. Amanda, thank you for being here.
Woohoo! What an intro. I loved all that. So I do have a PowerPoint. I figured this out last time when I did a Shakeology Zoom, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to figure it out. I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm just going to jump right in because so much of what Julianne just shared, let's see. Dun, 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 dun. All right, view, present. Is it working? Yeah, woohoo! All right, success. So my presentation tonight, I titled Create Change When You Decide to Change, going from one toe in to not looking back. And that cute kiddo right there is Grayson. And I thought this was a perfect picture because he just looks like he's gonna fly right off our bed, which I absolutely love. So he's 5. And I just thought that was good visualization for the title here. All right, so just a little about me. Julianne shared a lot of this, but I'm 34. I do live in Alpena, Michigan, and I typed in the chat, why do we live where the air hurts our face? Because I did just go to a New Leader Conference. I was in California for 4 days, you guys, and I was like, why doesn't everyone live here? I don't understand. I don't think I was meant to be born and to live in Northern Michigan my whole life, and I'm not sure that I will, but for now I do, and the air does hurt my face. So I've been married to my husband, Ben, for 10.5 years. We've been together for more than 16 years. Our first date was on my 18th birthday, and he's amazing. He's an amazing guy. He's an occupational therapist. We have a really great relationship. We have really open and honest communication, which I think helps a lot. And I do share a lot about my relationship, so I think that's a part of my story now too. We have 2 great kiddos, Grayson there, who's 5 and in kindergarten. He's already done a year of preschool, and he's just really, really smart, great memory, like wicked scary sometimes. Already asking to learn how to do multiplication, like not exaggerating. He's just a funny little kid. And then Charlie's going to be 2 in April, totally opposite. Not that she's not smart, just in like a figure it out kind of way. She's our little Sour Patch baby, super sweet, most snuggly baby ever. And then all of a sudden she'll like throw something at your head. Kind of hilarious and unpredictable. And our house is always a mess. So life is fun with those 2. So I retired myself as a kindergarten teacher when Grayson was born. So he was born in November of the school year. So if you're familiar with school years, different from a calendar year, right? So born in November of the school year. And I got 8 weeks of maternity leave because it ran into Christmas break. Lucky me, instead of the 6, because where I worked, we didn't get maternity pay. So in January, when I went back to work, you guys, I never in a million years ever, I joked about how horrible I would be as a stay-at-home mom. When I had to leave him, you don't know until you have kids. When I had to leave him, I was like, I can't do this. I cannot leave him to let someone else raise him. It was the craziest feeling because I always said that would never be me. And you just don't know, right? You never know. So we found out that April, our school was going to close. I said to my husband, hey, if I dig into my Beachbody business and I can make X amount to cover our bills, it would be tough, but could I stay home in the fall? And he was like, literally Ben's like a lot like Eric. Like he was just like, do what you got to do, babe. Like that's literally what he said. Like figure it out and do what you got to do. I'll support you. And I was like, oh, I love you even more. That's possible. Okay. So I did that fall. I stayed home with Grayson. And at that time, so for about 3 years, I was only teaching a couple of group exercise classes a week as work in addition to Beachbody. I'll get more into that in a little bit. But now, so just as of this past September, I'm the membership director. I'm one of the managers at our local health club. Membership director, nutrition educator. I am an exercise instructor, personal trainer. And now I coach what I call part full-time, because even though this is what I consider my full-time salary, it's not something you do all day, every day, even though it is sharing your all day, everyday life. A few fun things. I recently started running again. I used to run and then had kids and stopped and then ended up with some issues with my knees, but I'm getting back into it, which I'm enjoying. I love kids movies more than grown-up movies. True story. On the way to California, I watched Frozen 2 on the airplane, and like everyone else is watching like the new Joker movie and like Hustlers, and I'm like, I'm watching Frozen 2. I have the Disney Channel. True story. I have the Disney Channel on Pandora for me, not my kids. Like when I'm doing the dishes, I'll like listen to Disney on Pandora and sing all the songs. And I'm super literal to the point of being oblivious at times. So if you know the colors, I am more red than anything with some blue in there. I always used to joke that I'm purple. Anyway, I know a lot of people are doing the Enneagram now. I have to retake it because I don't remember what I am. Okay, so let's dig in. First things first, it's never too late. So Julian was like, how long have you been a coach? And this is my first point. And I wanted it to be my first point because I'm not ashamed of this. I've been a coach for 9 years. And just this past year, I earned 2-star. And yes, I know I'll be 3-star this year with building my own second business center. And I know I want to help my coach Katie get to diamond, so that'll be 4-star hopefully this year. And then if I build my husband's business, which I haven't done yet, which I know I can do, I could potentially be 5-star this year, which would be very exciting. Now that I've decided this is something I want to do and something I'm digging into and something I'm taking very seriously for myself, that is what I see for my future. So just because I've been doing this for 9 years doesn't automatically mean I get to be successful. My success has really mostly come in the past 18 months. And I think that's super important to keep in mind, because even at the New Leader Conference, you guys, so much about that was incredible. Like 98% of that was incredible. A couple of things that were said, I believe on our team, and it trickles down from Team Rockstar Fit down to us. We don't do things the same, which I think is okay. We're not about numbers. We're about people and going deep with people. And I like that more than like, who can add 10 to 15 coaches this month? Like, we don't talk to you like that, right? I know Julianne doesn't talk to you like that. It is important to build a community, but not as important to know your community. And then the other thing that they said was, don't drag people along. And I agree with that to a point, but if Sarah, my coach Sarah Morrison, hadn't breathed belief into me 3 years after I had joined, I would have never taken that first training, Rock the Business, and I would not be where I am today. So just because you have people in your organization that might not be doing anything now, don't discount them. Don't say, you're not doing anything, I'm not going to give you any love or energy. All right. So if you've heard that from people before, my advice would be, keep me in mind, right? Or if you have a coach on your team who's not doing anything but says they maybe want to, or they've discovered that maybe they want to be a stay-at-home mom, they've never thought of that before for themselves. If you want me to speak with them, or you'd like me to talk to anybody on your team, I'm always happy to, because I am proof that you can't discount coaches, because I was the ultimate discount coach for 3 freaking years and then decided to jump in with the business more. And even still, it took me time after that to gain my own confidence enough to believe in myself. I started to dabble and learn, but didn't really believe that I had what it took to run a business. It took me another couple of years to even be comfortable saying out loud, I am a coach, to people. It felt weird. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't think other people knew what it meant, and I thought it made things awkward. I had to figure all that out for myself. And I know that you guys talk about a lot of team culture here in Happy and Fit. So I know I don't need to go into that, but for me, that's what held me back a lot. So, but why have I had some success, right? Because I've always shown up in some way. Even when I wasn't earning Success Club for those years, I was running challenge groups. Even when I wasn't earning Success Club, I was always working out and always drinking my shake. So I was always being proof the product worked. And I've never really been shy about sharing that. So people naturally would like ask what I was doing or cheer me on. Or if I did then post like, hey, I'm running this group, people would join me. I just wasn't looking at it business minded enough, and I didn't have a system and a strategy. I was just sort of winging it. I was one toe in, right? And that doesn't feel good. So then of course there would be months where I was just like, oh, I'm not good at this, or I'm not earning Success Club, so I must not be a good coach. And then for months I would fall away, not from my own self-care, but from really reaching out to people, those vital behaviors of adding new people to your network, starting conversations. No matter how successful you get, you can't stop doing those things. Inviting people to your groups and to the team, following up with those people. I do that stuff every day. I was doing that before I got on this call. And if I hadn't followed up with, I think I just followed up with like 10 or 12 people for my upcoming group. And one woman said, she's ready to sign up as a coach. And I'm like, what if I hadn't said that follow-up today? She may have just disappeared into the background. Follow-ups matter. Okay, got a little off track there. Then I decided it is so, it seems silly to me almost at this point now saying to people what changed. I honestly just decided enough was enough. I am enough. If I was going to do this, I had to take it seriously. I just decided. So here. This was my big thing. If you don't believe you can, you're right. If you don't think there are people to help, there aren't people to help. There won't be. If Success Club makes you nervous and you don't think you can do it, you won't. That was a huge thing for me. Or I would say like, oh, it doesn't really matter that much anyway. And so I just didn't do it because it was almost like that rebellious part of me. Like I am a rule follower and I really like things black and white, but there's this tiny part of me that loves pushing boundaries and breaking rules to see what I can get away with. And I wanted to see, can I get away with not earning Success Club, but still being a coach? And that's a horrible attitude to have, but that's how I can be and how I was. It's taken a lot of personal growth, you guys, to get where I'm at. So if talking to people about the price of what we offer makes you uncomfortable, they'll definitely be uncomfortable. You have to know what we offer has way more value than what we're asking them to pay, especially if you're inviting to the community. If you don't think your story matters, it won't speak to anyone because then you're probably not being vulnerable enough and you're probably not sharing enough if you don't think your story matters. You have something about you that someone else needs to hear that I can't share, that Julianne can't share, that Sarah can't share. You have something that other people need to hear, that they'll see and hear, and it will speak to them in that moment. If you don't tune into your team and participate in the things going on, no one will want to join you in what you're doing. Because if you're not tuned in and you're not excited, then when you reach out to people, they'll feel that. For a really, really long time, I ignored launches and I ignored things happening in my team. And I didn't participate. I didn't watch the weekly calls or loops, and that doesn't feel good to be one toe in. If you feel silly on social media or don't show up consistently, people will feel that and they won't trust you. The first thing I tell a coach who tells me that they want to do something with this business is, let's go look at your social media together. If I look at your last 3 posts, do I know that you, one, value your own health and wellness, and two, are someone who could help me. If I'm looking at your social media, do I know in your last 3 posts, because that's as far as most people make it, that you can help me with my health? And if not, you need to change your social media, right? And so I really have been focusing a lot. And I mean, my social media is not like beautiful and super fancy. I get stuff up because, just like a lot of you, I have 2 kids and another job and a husband and a home and hobbies and friends and things going on in my life. And I don't have tons and tons of time, but I make it happen every single day. I'm on my social media. Julianne, I can't see the chat with this open. So if there is anything pressing or questions, will you just interrupt me? Because, I don't care. If you're afraid to fail, you'll ultimately fail at life. Not trying is the biggest failure. If I could go back 5 years and yell at myself for not getting into this mindset, then I would, but I can't. So I need to move past that and do the best I can do now, which is fine. But if you're unsure or you're one toe in right now, if any of what I've said has spoken to you and it's a little bit of a gut check, what I would say is just decide. Decide you're enough. Decide you want this for real, and decide that failing is okay. I was so scared of failing. I was so scared that people would see that I failed that I was unwilling to even try. And so for years, I just sat in the background as a coach doing my own thing, helping a few people along the way. And yes, I was helping people, but not like I am now, which feels a whole lot better. So it took me a long time it took me too long to figure out that who I am, what I offer, and the things I've experienced were exactly what someone else needs to hear in order to be inspired. So people are looking, Sarah just shared this with our team. I wanted to share it with you from Everything is Figure Outable. We can hear the same thing 100 times. So if someone's on social media and they've heard the same thing, about eating healthy or working out, they've heard it, they know it, they've heard it, right? If you ask someone what they need to do to be healthy, they probably can tell you what they need to do, but maybe you do a post that's super vulnerable about your transformation or your workout or someone you've helped or why you cooked a meal that day, even though you're home late from work and your kids are running around driving you crazy and your husband's out of town. Maybe that one post in that moment is what they needed to hear to say, I'm going to join her because she just spoke to me, right? So your story, your effort, you as you are, you're enough right now. It's deciding to jump in and make things happen that matters most. Don't wait until you feel perfectly ready. Just start. And I'm sure you've heard that before because I heard it as a coach so many times in all those years that I was doing nothing or doing minimal, that you don't have to be perfect. Just do it. Do your own thing. So I am going to get into some logistics here. So you have to figure out where you belong and where you can contribute. Success starts to multiply when we lead. I know Julianne is a fan of other people taking the lead on things. If you on this team want to do more, want to take up a Tuesday tip of some kind, ask her. I'm sure she'll let you. When you contribute, when you take lead on something, when you feel really comfortable and positive about something that you can contribute, your confidence skyrockets and so will your success. Because when you feel comfortable and confident with what you know, you're way more likely to be able to share that with people who you're reaching out to and inviting with more confidence, and that's going to show. I am the type of person who, if I don't feel like I'm in charge, and I figured this out about 1.5 years ago, if I don't feel like I'm in charge, I don't want to be a part of it. And that kind of sounds bad, but at the same time, I like knowing what my role is, I guess is more how I should say it. I like to know what's expected of me so I can do a good job at what's expected of me. I don't like the in-between of what could I do and do you want me to do this? I just like to know. And when I figured that out, when our team, the Fireflies, was born, I found my niche. I gained a ton of confidence. I took on more responsibility. I'm the co-runner now, I guess you would say, I don't know, co-host of the Fireflies, co-coach with Sarah. And I stopped hiding. I stopped being afraid of failure. And that feels good. I love I love the idea of learning through mistakes now. And I've stopped taking things so darn personally. When I do mess up, it's okay and I can move on faster. One of the things that I heard that helped me the most is that people who can overcome adversity in life will always be more successful in life. All of us are going to have crappy things happen to us in life, in coaching, in relationships, at work, always. People who can overcome it with more grace, more compassion, more humility, are going to always be more successful than people who come out of it dramatic and upset and bothered, right? And I was that person, and now I'm definitely transitioned more into somebody who can look at someone who's telling me I did something wrong, not shrivel up into tears is what I used to do, and move on more gracefully. How did I make it happen? So I already said I had to decide that I could. I honestly just decided. But I started using mantras. And this might sound silly to you. I know a lot of you are, I mean, I know you don't care. Like, I know a lot of you have faith, right? You're a Christian, or you follow the Bible and that's awesome. I don't personally know yet what I believe in, but the more I read and the more personal development that I do, I love the idea of all beings or all gods are ultimately the same thing, right? So like if you're praying to God and someone across the world is praying to Buddha, I believe it's the same energy that you're praying to. It's just different beliefs in different cultures, the background where it comes from. So this isn't what that's about, but just so you kind of get an idea of why I started going more into using mantras. In the book, The Universe Has Your Back, if you've read that, if you've heard of it, I love that book. I do. You guys, if you've ever had a moment in life where you've asked for something from the universe or you've put energy out into the world and feel it, you feel it in your body and your soul and your bones that it's working, that's a really incredible feeling. So I started telling in the car out loud, I started saying, because in that book, The Universe Has Your Back, she says you have to talk to the universe. You have to tell the universe what you want. You have to ask for guidance. So it's like praying, but asking the universe, right? So I would say, I am a leader and I do deserve freedom in life. I can help other people because I never used to believe I could. The book, You Are a Badass at Making Money, she says to do the same thing, different author, and says to say out loud, money is the root of all awesome. I deserve to make money. I love money because I love myself. She says to say this stuff out loud. Not that money should be the center of everything, but a lot of people have a lot of guilt associated with money. And if you do, you need to read this book because it's amazing. So I started telling the universe that I was going to earn Success Club, that I could find people, that there were people who needed my help, that scarcity is not a thing, that if the freaking top coaches in the network are adding 15 coaches a month, I can find two, right? So this is going to sound so silly to some of you. I promise I'm not crazy, maybe a little, but I pictured putting, you know, some animals have sonar, like it goes out into the world and then it comes back. I would visualize this in the mornings, pictured projecting out, who am I going to help today? Where are the people who are going to join my team? I know that I'm going to help people. Like I pictured my energy going out into the world. This probably sounds crazy. Julianne, if it sounds crazy, just be like, Freeland, moving on. Okay. And then, you know what I pictured? Is people coming back to me. And I'm not kidding. Ever since I decided and ever since I started thinking this way, I am on month 14 of Success Club now. So in February, I'm at Success Club 12, and I'm the woman that I just messaged. She'll be my third coach this month. And that's not to brag or be like, oh, I found all these people. I feel like the energy you put out into the world comes back to you. And if you're like, oh, I don't know, or oh, I'm worried, or there's not anyone to help, or no one's talking to me, you have to change your thoughts. You have to think, okay, this person said no, but who's going to say yes? You have to start thinking differently about the energy you're putting out and getting back. So the more I believed it, the more it keeps happening. But more importantly, I had to have a plan each month. So it's not just about talking to the universe and picturing your energy going out into the world, right? So a huge part of my success has been knowing exactly what I'm inviting to. You have to know what you're inviting to each month. Launches are huge. Sarah Morrison, who I run our team with, does an amazing job. She got this idea from Julianne, so I know Julianne does this too, of creating launch sneak peeks where you can just put people into the sneak peek. There's videos and information there. They can check out the program and the packages, and everything's right there. And all you have to do is follow up with them. That's incredible. Sarah does that for our team too. So launches have been huge for our team, for helping coaches earn Success Club on our team, and for bringing new people into the team. So if you don't have a plan, you won't have any confidence or drive to talk to or invite people. So what do you do on your off months off of launches? Do you do a clean week? Do you have a 10-day challenge? So what I would suggest for you is to find something that works for you. What's your niche? Do you love a certain program? Do you love nutrition? Do you love a nutrition program, the 2B Mindset or the Ultimate Portion Fix? And try to focus on something where all of your social media leads back to you being an expert in that thing. So on your off months from launches, you have to have a good plan in place for yourself. And of course, backdate it so you know when to start inviting, when people need to order by, when it's going to start, usually on a Monday. So you open the group on Friday, have the weekend to prep people, doing weights and measurements, all those things, right? So post to your plan. Your platform doesn't matter if you're consistent. What I mean by that is Instagram or Facebook. Right now, I'm still pretty successful on Facebook, getting more into Instagram, but still learning. I'm a slow learner, obviously, right? 9 years in. But getting better at Instagram, just working on it still. But Facebook is my main platform right now. So once again, consistency is key. Create a system that works for you. Here's mine. I create my timeline for when my group is going to start. I open a public event page. So I wanted to share this with you. Maybe? Haha. We see this okay? Yeah? So this is the group that I'm running starting on Monday. Love yourself and love to eat. So many of you know that I'm a huge fan of Shakeology. It's the first thing that got me hooked on this community, just feeling better from the inside out. And I love the 2B Mindset program, and I have a year-round group. It's been running for almost 2 years now, called the 2B Mindset for Life. But to get fresh people into that group, I'll do mini nutrition groups. This is a 14-day group that I'm going to start. And I just named it this, Love Yourself and Love to Eat. And look at this though. This is why I do public events. I have 14 people who've clicked on going and 52 people who've clicked on interested. That's 66. I did that math right. That's 66 people that I've either talked to or followed up with. And I'm still following up with and talking to some of those people. So that's a lot. All right. Whoops. Okay. So I use and open a public event page. I created that banner quick. I invite people from my friends list. If you don't know how to do that, I'm sure your coach can help you. It's really easy. It takes me like less than 10 minutes to get that banner up, invite people, open it, all the things. And then what I do is I use the event link. So when my event page was just open, you copy and paste the link into your own post comments. So if you go to my Facebook page, I just did one tonight with a sheep hand meal. In my own comment on that post, I put the link to my event page. But in my post, I said, do you need help with your nutrition this month? If you do, I'm starting a 14-day group on Monday. Check out the comment, the link in the comments below. Click interested. I'll send you some more information. Right? So use that as your own marketing tool. Follow up, and follow up some more. There are some people who I've been talking to for like 10 days now, and they're like, oh, I forgot to look at it. That's what people do. But if you keep following up and they don't do it this time, more likely they'll do it next time. Like, oh, sorry, I never got back to you. I see you're doing another group kind of thing, right? Keep things short and sweet. Have links and info handy and available. Just have a system. The next thing that I started doing more is inviting to the team. So was it, Julianne, 2 years ago, our Diamond Retreat was the virtual retreat, and Trina talked about how there's power in the team. And that fall, is that right? Was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago? 2 years, right? So it was that fall, our team started a group called Team Builders. And it's a smaller group of coaches who are ready to build their teams more. And I was like, heck yeah, like after that Diamond Retreat and just deciding I wanted to take myself more seriously. So we show up every Saturday for a call, and to stay in the group, we're not really supposed to miss one Saturday a month. So it's pretty serious. Like you have to show up unless it's work or emergency. So like a lot of times I teach classes on Saturday mornings, at least once a month, sometimes twice a month. That's an exception. We have to reach out to at least 3 people a week about coaching. We have to share who we reached out to, who they are, how we reached out to them, our conversations. We share all of this in Team Builders on the call to help each other and to stay accountable. And then inviting to the team more seriously was game changing. So I have always had a smaller team. I still, to this day, even though I have a 2-star team, I don't have a ton of coaches. I have a decent sized team now, especially since this fall of 2018. But I do love that in our community, we are more about getting to know people and going deep with people versus adding numbers, because I can't imagine with my life trying to get to know and help 10 to 15 new coaches a month, but 2 to 3 seems very manageable, and I have a system for that. And that feels really good to me. And them getting to know our team feels really good to me, because when I talk to people about our team, I talk to them about the community. So when I invite people, I make it known to them that the team is the better option. It costs the same to order as a customer or to join the community. And I just say that. The value they will receive and my level of support will be greater if they join the team. I'm honest about that. I don't follow up with customers as much as I follow up with my coaches, because they're there, they're invested more. I send our coach to self versus coach to others graphic. So that graphic, I think you guys have something like that too. On half, it talks about people who join the team as a coach to themselves and what that looks like, or a coach to others and what that looks like. It's really simple, just 2 columns with things listed. I also use this graphic that I have in the picture here, where I just sent this to this woman, Amber, who I messaged tonight and followed up with, where you don't have any inventory needed, no quotas to hit. You can earn a commission at any time, whether or not you're working the business, no contracts, only cost is membership, possible bonus revenue. And then one funny thing I do say, you're welcome to steal this if you want, is when I use voice messages all the time. But sometimes what I'll say to people, yeah, it's $16 a month to be a member in our community. And I was like, that's like having a magazine subscription, or, some people get those bark boxes, like subscriptions for their dogs, to get a box of stuff for their dog. I think it costs less than that. Like, I'll jokingly say it, but like, you're investing $16 a month in your health, which is going to add years to your life. Like, people have the money for this if they really look at what they're spending their money on. And I'm not trying to offend anyone. If you do bark boxes, that's cool. Like, I love that you guys love your furry pets. It's just something funny that I say sometimes, not all the time. And I talk to other coaches. I talk about other coaches on the team and share their successes and experiences too. I don't just talk about my own story. I show other coaches. I take before and afters of coaches on our team if it relates to the person that I'm talking to, and I share that as well. I have to keep my belief going. Sorry, that was covered. I have to keep my belief going by continuing to learn. So every day I wake up and tell myself it's worth it. I have to remind myself that the freedom that's been created here is real and it matters. So for a long time, I didn't think it mattered. And for a really long time, like I shared with you before, I couldn't even say I was a coach. So it didn't feel real. My family is my reason, because I never want to look at them and say they aren't worth it. Now, maybe you've heard this already from the New Leader Conference. Maybe somebody has already shared it. But I think it's super powerful. So even if you have, it's probably worth hearing again. Like, I know Kim was on the Diamond Call and she heard it. So I've changed my screensaver to, you can't really see it well, but it's me holding my kids. And one of the presenters said, take a picture out on your phone. He's like, I know you all have your phones. Take a picture on your phone of the person who you love the most in the world. And we're all doing it. And he's like, now look at that person or people. And when you don't want to get up early, and when you don't want to work out, and when you don't want to send the invite, and when you don't want to do whatever it is in this business that's keeping you back from being successful, I want you to look at that person who you love most in the world and say, you're not worth it. And the whole audience was like, oh, like that was so mean, right? And I started crying because I'm emotional anyway. But how can you do that? How can you look at your kids? How can I look at my kids and say, you're not worth it, when this business is not hard? This business is not hard. It's not. It takes work. And they share this at New Leadership at NLC. It takes effort. It takes skill. It takes diligence. It takes being resilient. It takes work. But the things you do to be successful, it's not hard. And when you have systems in place, and when you're in the zone of belief and determination where success comes, it's fun and it becomes routine. And to look at my kids and tell them it's not worth it, that's not ever happening again. And for a long time, that's what I was basically doing, is letting my own fear get in the way of believing that this business was something that's going to give them freedom in life that I could never have given them as a kindergarten teacher. Not ever. So personal development really is key. It has to be one of your vital behaviors. Get to live events. I just put for real, just do it. So if you are thinking about going to Summit, you don't have your ticket yet, for real, just do it. Going to live events, if you're someone like me who needs tangible, like I need to feel the energy, I need to be there, I need to hear it, I need to experience it, you have to go. Live events freaking fire me up. Went to NLC a couple weeks ago. I'm at Success Club 12 and I'm adding coaches, like, because that fire has been built. And the belief is fired up even more, even though it's already been there for the past year and a half. Live events are worth investing in. It's worth investing in you. It's worth investing in your business to go to live events. I've gone to every summit for the past, this will be my 6th summit, I think. And I keep going, and I keep taking time away from my family, and I keep investing in the trip because I know the value that comes out of it. And I know the motivation and momentum in my business and in my coaches' businesses that will come out of me being there. It matters and it helps. So go to live events, Super Saturdays or Sundays, to Summit, to your own team things. Meeting Julianne, it sounds like this weekend, like that stuff's awesome. Do that stuff whenever and however possible. Tune into your team calls, ask for help, connect with a few other coaches who you relate to, not necessarily the top coaches. This was some of the best advice I got early on. Don't follow all the top coaches. Follow 1 or 2 people who inspire you, but don't make you feel like I could never do that. I don't follow any other coaches. I have friends who are coaches and I peek at their social media once in a while. I can honestly, legitimately say never, ever do I go out seeking other coaches to see what they're doing. I don't follow anybody. I worry about myself and what I'm doing and how I'm showing up. And I focus on my team and what they're doing and how they're showing up. I don't care what other people are doing. And I really think that's helped my success. Okay, so what has this done to help our family? So aside from the obvious healthier and happier part, I'm somebody who has pretty bad anxiety and have struggled with depression, not just around my pregnancy, but before I started working out as well. And then my depression comes with overwhelm. So I've lost literally days sitting on the couch, just feeling the pressure of the world and the weight of the world in my mind and on my heart. And I'm so overwhelmed you can't get up and do anything until you have to do something, right? And that's a really hard feeling to express to people and to understand if you've never felt that before. But fitness has that. I haven't had a day like that in a really long time. Winter is really hard for me. It's February, so it's really hard for me right now, but going to California helped. Doing things like this helps. I started working more this past September, which I shared. I work about 25 hours a week as one of the managers at the club now. And I think that's helped getting out of the house a little bit more too, but still leaving enough time to work on my business. And I still get to be home with my daughter 2 days a week, which I'm super grateful for. But with anxiety, you guys, nutrition and fitness are directly linked to mental health. If you or anyone you know has anxiety and someone has prescribed them medication without also prescribing them movement and better nutrition, you are someone who can help them. Not saying don't take your medication, saying also you should be moving more and eating differently. That will help you feel better too, because it's been proven to help alleviate anxiety and depression. We no longer have student loans. My husband and I paid more on our student loans than we did on our first mortgage for years until I started taking my Beachbody business more seriously. Our student loans are now gone. We, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, we were able to move into the house we're in now, and to get a 15-year mortgage, which if you know anything about that, for us, that was a huge deal. When just 7-8 years ago, I would have to say to Ben, hey, we only have $50 left in the checking account. Don't spend any money for 3 days until we get paid again. That's how we were living, like beyond paycheck to paycheck. Like, what credit card can I use to get gas today? That's how we lived. And that doesn't feel good. And it's not because, Ben has a master's degree and is an occupational therapist, and I had a full-time teaching job. But our student loans crippled us early in our marriage. We had no freedom. We had no extra money. We had stress all the time. We had tons of credit card debt. None of that felt good. So now we have way more financial freedom. I haven't seen my sister Jessica in 2 years. She lives in South Dakota. I just booked a ticket, not just for myself, but for Grayson too, to go see her in June. And I'm so excited that we had the money for me to do that because of coaching. And that feels really good. That's freedom. I get to go see my sister and my niece, who I've only met a couple of times, which breaks my heart, right? Money matters in life. It allows us to do things that matter, to connect us to people that matter. And if money's holding you back, because it did me for a long time, a lot of uncomfortable feelings about money with this business, don't let it. Read You Are a Badass at Making Money. It will change your perspective and it will help move you forward in this business. We have money in a savings account. That might sound silly to you, but this is something that I dream about, you guys. Like, I know I'm in my 30s, but my dream is to be debt-free by the time I'm 40, to have my bathroom remodel done and paid for by the time I'm 40, to have my kids have college funds. Whether or not they go to college, that's their choice, but I want that money there for them so they have a little bit more freedom of choice too. If they want to travel for a year after high school, I would totally support that. I think it's really silly to ask a 17 to 18-year-old what they want to do for the rest of their lives. That's just my own personal opinion. I do believe in college and furthering your education, but I do think there are different ways to do things too. We're able to do lots of home projects. We do a lot of DIY stuff. I'm able to work part-time and still be home with my daughter, Charlie, 2 days a week, which is super fortunate. A lot of mamas can't do that. Travel and fun. I've been to 7 new states now, and Beachbody's paid for all of it, which is incredible. Community and friendships keeps me going. Leadership opportunities, growing as a human. You guys, I can't imagine. I can't imagine what life would be like without the women I know right now because of Beachbody. I can't imagine what kind of person I would be if Sarah hadn't invited me. I was already depressed and anxious and overweight and in a job that wasn't going anywhere. Clearly my school closed, so it wasn't going anywhere. If she hadn't invited me, I don't know if I would be a mom, because my husband and I were married for 5.5 years before we had Grayson. I wasn't sure. I believed I could be a good mom. This community changes people's lives in lots of different ways. Never underestimate your invitation. You don't know what you could be inviting someone to, not just to health and fitness, but maybe to a brighter future, to being a better them, to a better career opportunity, to more freedom. Like Julianne said, if it's not for health and wellness, maybe it's for what if, right? Like anything could happen in life. Okay, I always love hearing what other books people are reading and looking at. So I gave some suggestions here. If you're a nutrition person, Eat Pretty is great. Like, who knew when you cooked food to the point of it getting some black stuff on it that could age your skin faster, right? Like, it's kind of just like fun facts like that in the book Eat Pretty. Happiness Advantage is one we read after 2 summits ago, Sean Aker. And that's why our team is called the Fireflies. That's kind of fun. You Are a Badass at Making Money. I've talked about like 4 times. The Compound Effect was my first personal development book and still a fave. I've read it at least 3 times. It was one of those books where I was reading and I was like, what am I doing with my life? Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I love this. Yes. Why aren't I doing that? And it just fired me up to do more and be more and want more. Go for No, super short and sweet, amazing gut check. If you haven't read or listened to Go for No, it is on Audible. I just listened to it on my drive down to the airport last week. And it was just a good reminder, even though I've already read it before. Limitless, we just did this book club. So we do book clubs in our team. We did this book club in January. We met this author at the Diamond Retreat in Philly. Breakthrough Your BS is a book club we've done last year, and Perfection Detox is a book club we did last year. I liked both of those. Breakthrough Your BS was okay, lots of good points, but not like a pick it up and get like super immersed kind of book, more of like a technical read through it, take notes kind of book. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, love the format. It's more like a story, which I totally love because I'm a reader. And then The Universe Has Your Back. If you're someone who needs to hear a message about how your energy being put out into the world is affecting you, you have to read this book. There are some things in there that are a little far-fetched for me, and I have a pretty open mind, but like I said, I'm very black and white and very literal. So even though I'm like that, this book spoke to me on a different level. And I believe it in my soul that what you put out into the world will be given back to you. And the things you ask for and the way you behave and the way you show up, it comes back to you. And I think that's a huge part of why my business has changed in the last year, going from a diamond star, unsteady star diamond to a solid 2-star. So I haven't dropped 2 stars since I earned it in November. And on my way to 3-star, hopefully, right? Because my second business setter is already at Emerald, woohoo. So it just feels really good to have belief in something when before I wasn't sure, and reading that book really helped. Next on my list, Everything is Figure Outable. It seems like everyone in the coaching world is reading that right now. The 10X Rule is one I heard of at NLC. I want to read that. And then Super Attractor is by the same author as The Universe Has Your Back, Gabrielle Bernstein. I believe, right? I said that right. And I heard that's really great, and just kind of like an added on to The Universe Has Your Back. So to wrap up, your belief matters more than anything. You have to decide that you can do this and that you want to. And that will lead to you being successful. I promise. It's just a decision. I decided that I wanted to go on the Success Club trip and that I was going to earn Success Club every single month for 12 months. So my whole trip was paid for. And so I could be given the $500 you get. I mean, they give you $500 if you earn Success Club all 12 months in the year before to spend wherever you are. And I was like, I want a free $500. Yes, I'll earn success. If I'm going to do it, I might as well earn it all 12 months, right? So long story short, we decided not to go. We're actually going to go to Tennessee for a week and take our own trip. But anyway, but I did it. The trip was paid for and I earned it all 12 months. And that felt really good. But it's just because I decided, right? It doesn't have to be the Success Club trip for you. It was ultimately me deciding. So there was 1 month. So when we decided not to go, it was October. And Sarah and I were talking, and it's because we had heard Americans were being targeted and like 18 people have died in Punta Cana in the last year and a half or something. And we just got paranoid. Anyway, still go if you're going, because now I'm like, we probably should have just gone. We're going to have fun in Tennessee. So in October, we decided not to go, and I got super upset. And it was the 3rd month of October. I had 0 Success Club points. And I talked to Sarah, and she was like, what's going on with this? And I was just like, my goal was the Success Club trip, and we decided not to go, right? But then I was like, but really, my goal was to be a better leader, to show up for myself, and to stop making excuses. And there was 1 week left in the month and I earned Success Club 10 because I just decided, and I reached out to people and I invited people, and there were all the people I've been talking to all year, right? It's all the momentum. It's all the building up that you do. There are people to help. And I didn't cut any corners. I just put myself out there and applied myself and made it happen because I decided. So stay inspired, stay connected, create systems, keep it simple. I stayed on time.
You're
All right, I'm going to close
amazing.
so I can.
I'm so proud of you. It's so fun to watch all your momentum and belief and all the things. Like, it legitimately brings my heart. It just makes my heart very happy. And it just sounds like you have such a plan. And I'm very grateful for our team, because that's just the flow I've used as well, is just know what you're inviting to and know who you're inviting, and then know the objections you're getting. And then you can use those objections in posts. You can do those objections. You handled an objection without realizing it. Well, you realized it, but others, of saying the bark box thing of like the membership. That's legitimately teaching other people how to think beyond what they know. And so I feel like with this coaching opportunity and team, we can think bigger for people when they think so limited. And it's so vital that we learn how to communicate things like that in our posts and in the way we're talking to people, because people can only see what's right here. But this journey has taught us to see like over this huge hill that people can't see. And we've got to be that guider for them. And I definitely believe so hard in mantras, and just like hardworking women flow freely to me. That is one, I swear to you, if I say it, someone will be in my DMs going, I'm ready to sign up. Like, if I am so intentional with that mantra, it's just true. Like, but then also the way I'm sharing my story, I'm more confident, I'm more direct, I'm just more excited. And then people just want to be a part of what I'm doing. And sometimes people force it by faking it. And I just don't think you can fake being authentic. And so I'm just really proud of you. What questions do you have for Amanda? So this is someone who uses Facebook mainly to hit Success Club 10 or higher. She's built a 2-star business going to 3-star using Facebook. She's been a coach for 9 years. That means she's had to expand outside of her, what you would say, warm market of friends and family and whatever. And I bet not a lot of family or close friends had joined her, because I just know this journey, it's not always like that. It's usually people who you've never met or you're reconnecting with a decade later. But questions I would really consider asking is, what does your invite look like? So she does an event page. How do you reach out to people? What do you say? What questions, if it's leadership, how did you lead your coaches, right, to want to go diamond? What questions do you have for Amanda? You can either unmute or you can put it in the comments. We have 4 minutes.
And I did just quickly to peek at all the comments. Thank you all so much. I'm glad you don't think I'm totally nuts with my sonar example. Like, I called Sarah in the car the one day and I was like, I'm picturing myself sending energy out into the world like I'm a freaking whale or something. Isn't it whale? Dolphins, right?
I think both, but like,
Yeah.
you go to Tony Robbins, it's crazy. Like, if you do this, we do this whole energy thing, and you can actually feel when someone's hands are above you and your eyes are closed. You can feel it going through your body. Like, we have an energy ring around us. And I think that God is so delicate with his design. And I don't know. I think that's really cool. Okay. What does your invite look like? Danielle Wood, how did you know that was the question I was hoping someone would ask?
Okay, so invites are really personal for me. They can look like a lot of different things depending on who I'm talking to. If I'm not in invite mode from, well, let's say if I am in invite mode from an event page, my invite simply says, hey, so-and-so, I hope you're having a great day, right? Something super simple. I hope you're doing well, right? I don't fuss with, I see this or I noticed that. Just hope you're having a great day. I see that you might be interested in my upcoming nutrition group. I would love to help you with your nutrition this month. Would you like me to send some information your way on what the group is about? Really straightforward, really simple. I believe, and we say this on our team all the time, people want to be told what to do. No one wants to join someone who says, do you think this is a good idea? No one's going to say yes. Like they're going to be like, oh, I don't know. Is it a good idea? They're going to second guess themselves, right? We need to be more direct with people in a polite way, but more direct with people in the way that they feel confident saying yes to us because we're confident asking them or telling them or showing them. So the question that I ask more often is, do you feel like this is a good fit for you? So I'll share the information then, like most of the time they say yes, or great, or yeah, this looks like, fun, or whatever they say. And I'll, once again, super short and sweet. Awesome. I'm going to send you a 3 to 5 minute video, whatever it is that I'm sending them. And I use the Beachbody promo videos, right? They create them, use them. I'm going to send you this video on, so say the 2B mindset, because that's what I'm inviting to right now. Please take a look at it. I'll check back in with you later today. I'm specific about that. I check back in with them. Hey, what did you think of the information? Do you feel like this will be a good fit for you? Super straightforward and simple. If it's a friend or someone I know or someone I've met at the club, so my situation is a little different working at an athletic club because I do meet people in our community. That way I know a lot of people in person, so I will do more of a conversation style, or I'll say something like, hey, I love working with you at the athletic club, but I would love to also work with you online with your nutrition, right? So just a little bit different way to talk about that. So if it's not somebody from the event page and I'm just reaching out to someone, I'll say, hey, I was thinking of you today because, or I sometimes if I notice someone on social media and they're like, oh, energy about this, or my kids are driving me crazy, or just whatever, I will still do because this is kind of old school where we used to look for people on social media and say, hey, I noticed that your kids were driving you a little nuts today, or that might be a bad example, but I'm starting a group soon, and I think it'd be fun for you to join other women who are on a mission to feel better for themselves. I think it'd give you more patience and take away a little bit of your stress with your kids. Would you like to check my group out, or can I send more information your way? Right? It's really just a question. Does that help?
That's so good. So something we've been doing on our team, it's just this, anyone who's watching their stories. So we've been heavily connecting and expanding our network. So then people come watch our stories. And then once people are in our stories, we say, hey, Amanda, thank you so much for watching my stories. I don't know if you saw, but I have a self-love club coming up. Would it be okay to send you more information? And that is what I want to hammer on, is that you ask the question. If you say, if you want to, let me know, they're not going to. Like the chances of someone sending any kind of yes to that is like small to none. But when you say, would it be okay? They're most likely going to say yes, because it's this friendly way for them to at least check it out without having to overthink it. And I think that's so good to hear you say that too. You say it a little bit differently, but it's the same thing. And as far as your event page goes, this is how I built my business, was with event pages in the beginning. And it's just so wild that that's still working for you, because I've gone away from that, but that's really what I would do as well. So I know you take them to a group after they sign up, but are you posting every day in your event page with facts, information, or are you just clicking whoever is clicking going, you're doing the invite and that's all you're doing?
I post a little, not every day though. I
Okay,
mostly use it as a recruiting tool.
cool.
And yeah, it's been working for me the last few times that I've done groups outside of launches. And then something else that I do in my invites now is I only offer the 2 challenge packs, the Shakeology challenge pack or the performance line. And I let them know that those are their 2 options to start. So I know and I believe as well that getting someone into our community is what matters most. Helping them with something is what matters most. But if people know that those are their best 2 options for value, they're more likely to choose one of those. And then, so for example, I was talking to a woman today, Shannon, who doesn't want to do Shakeology, and that's fine. I told her that's perfectly fine. You can join with the 2B mindset, and if you'd like to try Shakeology later on, you can. I still explained she would save money if she wanted to try it now, but she said no, and that's okay, right? I don't get mad or take that personally. I heard this really great tip once too from a coach that said a waiter is going to come up to your table and ask, do you want some appetizers before your dinner? You don't get mad at them. That's just their job to ask. As coaches, it's our job to ask, we shouldn't be telling people what they do and what they don't need, right? We need to offer what we have. Let them tell us where they're comfortable being. So I always offer the challenge pack first. And if it doesn't seem like that's a good fit for them, then I'll say, the 2B mindset is an option on its own, but the 2B mindset, for example, you guys, is $120 with Shakeology, $180 for $60 more. Such a steal. Anyway, so that's really why I do that. And that's helped me with Success Club as well, is offering that first more confidently than I used to do option A, option B, option C, option D, a Shakeology sampler pack, right? Like all the things. It was too much.
So good.